Hello out there, awesome radio family. Thank you for joining us on 107.5 FM and 1570 AM every Tuesday from 2 to 3 o'clock p.m. Are you ready to learn, engage, and inspire? Well, if you are, welcome to the Let's Talk K12 Education Show. I'm your host for the next 50 minutes, Tonitia Langley, education enthusiast, thought leader, founder, education coach, and consultant. And I'm so excited to partner with you for our foundation, which is education. I'm the host, but you and the community mean the most. I would love for you to share your suggestions of what you would like to get more information on related to K 12 education. If you're interested in sharing some information of what you would like to hear, go ahead, email us at let's talk K12education at gmail.com. So, guys, we are in the season. It's December, and we're ringing in the holiday spirit, celebrating the most wonderful time of the year here at the Let's Talk K12 Education Show. As we count down to the K 12 winter break with a new year on the horizon, we're bringing you all the insights and resources needed to make this season uplifting for everyone in our education community. Partner with us as we explore how we can support and uplift our schools, families, communities, and spread joy, foster growth, and create warm, inclusive atmospheres for students and educators alike. Join us as we share tips, insights, and spread just a little holiday cheer to make this season bright and memorable for everyone in the world of K 12 education. So, as I stated before, during the month of December, leading up to our Christmas Eve show on December 24th, you can be a Let's Talk K 12 Education Awesome Radio Christmas Helper by calling in to the show for the various opportunities to win Christmas giveaways. Ways to be an awesome radio Christmas helper and win Christmas giveaways is when prompted, call into the show at 252 756 3137. And there's a couple different ways, but here's one of the ways. Give a Christmas season shout out to a K 12 staff principal, teacher, bus driver, cafeteria worker, secretary, custodian, and tell them you wish you a Merry Christmas because, and then explain why. So that's one of the ways that you can be a Christmas helper here. So here's the Let's Talk K 12 Education Show's 2024 Christmas Anthem. For educators and K 12 stakeholders and partners, may your Christmas be as bright as your students' future and your Christmas break be filled with lots of cheer, cozy moments, and plenty of hot cocoa. For the K 12 families in our listening and viewing audience, may the spirit of Christmas fill your homes with love, peace, and joy. If you would like a recap of tools and resources for any previous Let's Talk K 12 education show, catch us on the replay and comment hashtag replay by heading over to Facebook, Awesome Radio 107.5 FM and 1570 AM with the beautiful purple and green logo, or go on over to YouTube and type in www.youtube.com at Awesome Radio WECU with the purple and green um, logo. So, being a wife, a middle school teacher, and grandmother to 8 school age grandchildren, and currently an education consultant and coach, I recognize the importance of the ability to have critical thinking skills. Lean in and listen up. Let's get warmed up and ready for our show today with How is Your Brain Game to drive your K 12 educational mindsets out of park into drive. Let's engage your critical thinking skills. And because this is a Christmas season, we're going to make it a little light. So here is a Christmas dad joke aligned with our topic today. You ready, Dr. Daniel?
I love dad jokes.
Why did the ornament go to therapy?
Oh my goodness.
Put
Let's
that
hear it.
towel because it felt hung up. Dun, 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 dun. I know, I know.
Yeah.
I know, Dr. Daniel. Go ahead and put it in a Christmas ornament and hang it up.
Oh,
So
I love
if
it.
you have brain teasers for How is Your Brain game segment and you would like to have them shared on the show, email us at let's talk K12 education at gmail.com. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my awesome and talented guest that will add some great information, tools, and resources on Let's Talk K12 Education Show as a Christmas helper and will be blessing our listening audience with some show giveaways. Let me tell you who she is. Her name is Dr. Lynn Daniel. Dr. Lynn Daniel, PhD, EDS, the self care evangelist, is a dynamic educator, author, and education advocate with a heart for transforming the lives of K 12 educators. Dr. Daniel brings the depth of her doctoral training in reading, language, literacy, and leadership from Concordia University, Chicago, along with four decades of experience as an adolescent and young adult literacy educator. Gosh knows you look beautiful. So I want you to take some of that and put some blessings my way because 4 decades, that's almost as old as I am, and you've been educating people. Her extensive background includes a wealth of expertise in social and emotional development, which integrates into her work to address the multifaceted challenges educators face, especially during the holiday season. As the founder of Lynn Daniel Consulting LLC, Dr. Daniel is dedicated to empowering educators through self care, resilience, and professional transformation. I love it. Her books, Trash Can Stop Being a Receptacle for Toxic People's Waste. Her other book, You Are Not Garbage, Why You Need to Overcome Adverse Childhood Experiences and How to Do it, reflect her commitment to guiding individuals in breaking free from toxic environments and embracing healthier, purpose filled lives. In today's masterclass, Dr. Daniel will share practical strategies to help teachers sustain their well being, build resilience, and implement purposeful self care practices. Grounded in her faith centered approach, she will highlight the power of evidence based self care techniques and introduce her self transformative 90 Days of Grace Self Care Challenge. Dr. Lynn Daniel, welcome to the show.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I've got my mic on my spoon, guys.
I love
All
it, and
right.
it's gold. Look, gold in my shirt for Christmas. So
And
we're
it's
we're look, we're
gold.
bringing all the Christmas in.
Child
So,
of the
Dr. Daniel,
King.
before you get into your master class today, helping one of my favorite topics, which is helping these teachers get ready for the holidays and self care, I want to get you to chime and check in Christmas edition. So, Dr. Daniel, share at least one of your favorite K-12 Christmas traditions
Oh my goodness. A Christmas tradition?
or memory, any of those. I know you may
Okay. I have
celebrate,
many men. Okay, so
yeah, yes.
memories. I can think back to my earlier days of teaching and how the students would show their appreciation around the holidays with kindness, gifts that their parents made, just little tokens of their appreciation
Mm-hmm.
and heartfelt warmth. And it was something that I haven't experienced on that magnitude
I
in many
know.
years because culture is changing, times are changing, and even what schools allow to take place
True.
around the celebration of various religious beliefs or whatever.
Right.
So that's a memory that I do have, and a
I
good
know
one.
one of my favorite memories, of course, I don't have all the decades that you've got a decade in the classroom, but two when you're talking about all of my experiences dealing with people. But one of my favorite K-12 traditions is November 1st, I start playing the Christmas music as the kids walk in and have a little fireplace going to the top. And just remember doing those things when I was, in the classroom. So that's one of my favorite, very, very favorite ones. So Dr. Daniel, there is a case study that I wanted to go over some stats to talk about why what you're talking about is very important. So we can either, I can guide you in with reading this case study, or you can say, girl, go and let me loose. Let me talk to these good
Oh,
people.
go ahead
Oh,
with that.
okay.
That could
So
be my segue.
yes. So, according to AI University with cited sources, the lack of self care and wellness practices among educators can have significant negative effects, both professionally and personally. Statistics show that teachers are among the most burned out professionals, with over 44%. Jesus, experiencing frequent work related stress compared to only 38% in other professions. I'm not proud about that.
Mm.
This chronic stress can lead to physical health problems, including sleep disturbances and weakened immune systems, as well as mental health issues like anxiety and depression. It can also affect their ability to build positive relationships with students, reducing overall classroom effectiveness, which is not good. Moreover, burnout contributes to high turnover rates in education, with nearly 30% of new teachers leaving the profession within 5 years. Dr. Daniel. This not only impacts individual educators, but also disrupts school environments, affecting student achievement and well being. Prioritizing self care, such as physical exercise, mindfulness, and setting professional boundaries, can significantly mitigate these risks and promote a healthier, more sustainable teaching career. Dr. Daniel, I cannot wait for you to get started with providing our families, educators, and stakeholders, and listening audience and viewing audience with your topic today, which is you're the known as the self-care evangelist. So around self-care and wellness for K-12 educators and for Christmas. So without further ado, I hope that that was a good little segue for you. You can get started. We got about
Definitely.
7 minutes and a half before we head to break.
So let's look at self care through an ecological framework, because that helps us to not only individualize the need for self care, but it helps us to look at the larger scope and all of the components of the community
Hmm.
and their impact on the individual,
Yes.
right? They're interactive. So, in the ecological framework of social emotional wellness for educators, we are looking at, can I put up that? We are looking at their, let me see if, there we
There we
go.
go.
Thank you. So, we are taking a close look at the individual. You see them in the center. And this is based on Bronfenbrenner's model, where he looks at, well, what impacts a student in school? Their ability to learn, their ability to be a part of the school community and succeed there. But we're going to look at not just the student, but the educator and the school and the community that impacts the school, and the larger global aspects of the state, even the
Yes.
country, that
Hmm.
impacts the school and the individuals in the school. So we have the microsystem, which includes your close families, your friends. And if we look at educators, your colleagues would also be a component in that microsystem, because this is your soil. This
Yes.
is where you are growing. If we say that we're plants in this community, like we're
Hmm.
all flowers blooming or bushes and trees, right? So our microsystem would be our close friends and our families who impact us.
So true.
Then, and we have our mesosystem, which is the connections beyond the family, but they influence what goes on. So you have your gardeners talking and working together to help the plants grow. You have like your school, the community members in the school working together to make the school successful and meet its goals. So that would be the mesosystem. Then you have the exosystem, which would be your outside helpers. So these are individuals. You could compare them to like how the weather affects us. I was talking to the engineer about the weather here in Phoenix, how much I really enjoy living here because it's a milder climate. But I mean, it gets extremely hot and then it gets cold. So, but that impacts you, right? Your exosystem, it affects how you perform, but you don't control it.
That's true.
You have to learn how to navigate it and live within it. So this would be like the parents impacting the students, like the administration team impacting the teachers, like district level or state level stakeholders impacting the administration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you have your macro system. This is your bigger picture. So you have your climate, you have the area where your plants are growing, where your garden is, the culture, the beliefs, the rules, the societal rules,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so my students and I, we were just reading, we finished up a book called Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. And in this book, I just have to mention this. In this book, the community had three rules. It was a community highly impacted by violence. The three
Mm.
the three rules were no crying, no snitching, and revenge.
Ooh.
And this is how the people in the community were
Mm.
expected to live in response to their environment. Now,
Wow.
just imagine as we read the book, we saw how it impacted the individuals. We saw how it impacted the families, right? And the student in the school. The primary character was a pretty good student in school. Okay, so you have that macro system, that big picture, the rules of the society. The rules of the school impact the teachers. The rules of the community where the school is located, it impacts, the school. And then
Mm-hmm.
finally, you have the chrono system. This is looking at the time and the changes that occur over time in that community. So sometimes those changes are good. So we can see that, compare that to seasons, like how the seasons impact us, right? So
Yes.
how storms come through and they tear up your property, or
Yes.
we've been having a lot of storms, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we see how over time communities can be resilient and bounce back from storms. Sometimes they can't, right? The same would apply for school and school employees, students in the school communities. So it's how your life is affected as the world changes over time.
That's
Okay,
so
so
true.
yeah, so
That's so
that's
true.
that's the ecological system model explained. That's Brofenbrenner's model.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we look at SEL, social emotional learning, social emotional ability development, Harris et al., they're these models are within, they're built and they expand on Brofenbrenner's idea of this ecological nature of communities,
Mm.
how the
Right.
individual grows, right? So all of them, like the SEAD model, helps us to look at, okay, what is my current ability with managing and understanding social myself in the social aspect, the emotional aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Do I even recognize my emotions?
Put
Do I?
pause right there. Pause right there, Dr. Daniel, because we're gonna this is good. We're gonna pick up on it after we come back from the break. So
Okay.
um here's an opportunity for to receive some Christmas cheer. Call in for a chance to win a Christmas giveaway of Dr. Lynn Daniels' book, Call into the show at 252-756-3137 and give your name and where you are calling from. So that's your first opportunity to win one of our Christmas Helper giveaways. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Let's Talk K12 Education Show on Awesome Radio WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 AM, where we are Christmas helpers. See you on the other side of the break. Welcome back to Awesome Radio WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 AM. You can find us here talking about all things education every Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Let's Talk K12 Education. You can find us on Facebook at Awesome Radio 107.5 FM and 1570 AM with the purple and green logo. Or you can find us on YouTube at Awesome Radio WECU with the purple and green logo. All right. So before the break, we had a giveaway. And so, again, you are going to be given an opportunity to receive your free gift from Dr. Lynn Daniel. Here is how you can do it. Call us on the show at 252-756-3137 and give a Christmas season shout out to a K-12 staff, someone that's like your principal, teacher, bus driver, cafeteria worker, secretary, custodian, and tell them why you want to wish them a Merry Christmas, okay? So without further ado, Dr. Lynn Daniels, you gave us some great information on some models. I'm going to let you go ahead and I'm going to let you take your masterclass back from here.
All right, you all, we're going to look at self care solutions for educators and educational stakeholders using this ecological systems model. So, on the micro system, this is your close interactions with family, colleagues, students, friends. We would like to encourage educators to establish boundaries for themselves, work life balance, create support networks with your family and trusted colleagues so that you are reinforced and supported. Other educational stakeholders can offer resources like family building activities, conflict resolution, workshops. Now, this is something that the school can do. The district level can do this as well, offering parent teacher communication tools, self care strategies such as mindfulness during the breaks, teachers during their prep times. The school supplying maybe posters in the workrooms or different tools that allow teachers to practice mindfulness. Another thing, celebrate small wins with your community and create those gratitude opportunities like journaling, a word wall, a gratitude wall, or something in the school, even the district office, the state office, where gratitude is expressed. And then on the meso system, those connections between the school and the family, we're looking at the active participation between the parent, school, community building. So PTOs, organizations, joint school family events, these can be done to help build the community where together you are practicing your self care solutions. Also, you can create these opportunities through school focused events, school family events, and you can model the well being. I know at one of the schools where I taught many years ago, we had opportunities for massages. And listen, self care is more than massages and manicures. But when you look at the bio level of self care, where the body is concerned, you do need stress relieving activities. So you can have massages. And we had that at a school where I taught in the past, where teachers could get a 10-minute in the chair massage. Okay. So, also for the meso, this connection between the school and the family, advocate for policies that encourage these strong communication building structures, right? So, positive building structures, phone calls, uh, pamphlets, emails of praise, of outlining the necessary steps to build the community, to reinforce the positive relationships in the school and in the families. The exosystem, these are your school policies and local economy. You can collaborate with the leaders to design the policies to promote the balanced workloads. This can happen at the meetings that occur in communities. This can take a look at how the meetings should focus on how to get the parents to the meetings, how to support the community to be engaged in creating community in meetings, funding opportunities. Businesses can fund wellness opportunities, wellness
Nice.
fairs, counseling services,
Mm-hmm.
paid mental health days. So that would be your exosystem. These are the indirect influences. So if a parent's job is lost or is creating a stressful environment for the parent, that
Mm-hmm.
indirectly impacts the student.
Yes, it
That
does.
student indirectly impacts the teacher and the
Yes.
community in the school. So see it all needs to be looked at collectively,
Mm-hmm.
holistically. Right. So, and then the macro system, the cultural and societal influence, you can look at those self care strategies, how they impact through curriculum, through practices, through education, and those systemic approaches, not hit and miss, but systemic approaches that build the information line, that build the community support necessary to have these communities built. And then chrono, looking at the time over, you know, weeks, months, semester, year, you take all of these tools and you manage them, you monitor them, you check in on them, you get feedback about them, and you develop them to make sure they are meeting the needs. So, those are like some umbrella approaches that help us to have that structure. The individual,
And that, Dr. Daniel, I'm sorry. And so that will also feed into having good, healthy self-care when we're getting all of those factors with this particular model.
right? Because everything, so all of this builds into the body is the biosystemic level, the
Hmm.
individual, that's your biosystemic level of self care. So
Okay.
that's the part of you that you need to learn how to address your identification of emotions, your self awareness of emotion, how
Hmm.
you manage yourself in the emotion.
Oh,
The
nice.
individual is the bio living organism,
Okay.
whether that's the teacher, the administrator, the student, the parent, it doesn't matter who it is,
Okay.
right? Then you have to become self aware as the individual.
Okay.
People are not going to become self aware on their own because they may not have the incentive or the drive to do that. We as a community can help each other do that
That's true.
through the individuals who have that awareness, that knowledge, that understanding, and
Well,
their
well,
ability to
Dr.
teach it.
Daniel, let's pull that in with that understanding. We're helping our community right now. So hang just a tight. We're going to finish that on the other side of the break. So, listen, if you are an educator or K12 educational stakeholder and would like to partner or reach Dr. Lynn Daniel, the self care evangelist, for services, books, or her 90-day transformative self care challenge, you can connect with her via Linktree, https://linktree Dr. Lynn Daniel. Here's another opportunity to receive some Christmas cheer. Call in with a chance to receive your free gift from Dr. Lynn Daniels. And you can call into the show at 252 756 3133. 837 and give your name and where you are calling from. So, again, call into the show to receive your free gift from Dr. Lynn Daniel at 252-756-3137. Give your name and where you're calling from, and for a chance to get this free gift from Dr. Lynn Daniel. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Let's Talk K12 Education Show on Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 AM, where we will make education everyone's business while taking pride in Christmas helpers. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to the Awesome Radio 107.5 FM and 1570 AM WECU, where we're doing what? Promoting educational equity for the families in our listening and viewing community. I'm the host, but you and the community mean the most. Please email us your K-12 educational suggestions or topic ideas at let's talk K-12 education at gmail.com. So, going to open up this last segment of the show today with a huge thank you to Dr. Daniel for being an awesome radio Christmas helper on the Let's Talk K-12 Education Show, with some of her uh, gifts that she gave away today for the listening, viewing, and audience. So, with that being said, Dr. Daniel, and you've done a fabulous job with breaking down the components of what makes us tick with our self-care, why it's important, and providing a theoretical framework around it. So I appreciate that, and I know our viewers will as well. So, Dr. Daniel, as an author of books around our topic today, can you give a book talk regarding your books and services of Lynn Daniel Consulting LLC?
I was my first case study. I studied myself.
Wow.
So as a young girl, I had a childhood illness, and I was born in the 1960s. So medicine was quite evolving. It was still evolving
Mm-hmm.
back then. You must remember that penicillin was
Yes.
invented when in the 40s,
Really?
1940s or so. Well, that date somewhere around there, right? I
Oh,
remember my parents were little when penicillin was invented.
mm-hmm.
So a lot of the medicines that were being used for, I was an asthmatic, allergies, digestive issues. And so I was a guinea pig in the medical community. And as I matured to a young adult, I was my first case study.
Wow.
I started learning what did I need to do to be well. As
Yes.
I continue to grow and have children and then finish my doctoral and all,
Nice. Mm-hmm.
that is when I develop a program based on what I learned about what I needed.
Yes.
That's right. So I was
Ed
my first
snaps.
case study.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And what I discovered was I needed nutrition that was going to support my wellness,
Mm-hmm.
because eating certain things definitely impacts your body. It
Yes.
impacts your digestion, it impacts your mood, your ability to think clearly can be
Mm-hmm.
impacted. Certain foods make you have brain fog. If you have food allergies and you're not aware of that, you have symptoms that slow you down and impact your ability to function well.
So, Dr. Daniel, you saying some of my fried chicken wings might not be a good idea sometimes?
And that's where the mindset though is important for us to take ownership and responsibility around our whole picture of self-care. Like I can remember growing up hearing the adults say, "Oh, my doctor said I couldn't do this," or "I'm eating this but I know I shouldn't." And I used to do it too, right? I'm not, I'll confess, I would do things too and try to push it on my doctor. I'm getting away with something. No, the ownership and the level of responsibility and self care is so important.
It
So
is.
we own that we are in charge of building the life that we want. And our wellness is a main component of that. And then our mindset, are we able to take what we know and admit what we don't know. Take what we know and use it to build the life that we want for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and our
True.
family and our community,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or are we just going to have like a victim mentality or a mindset where we can't change and grow, right? So these are some of the components that I looked at when I did my self case study. Here, excuse me. Here's my book. I've been talking too much.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my trash can book. This is the first book that I wrote after I finished my doctorate. I wrote this book because of the pandemic, and we returned to classrooms, and the kids came back looking like zombies. And then the teachers were shell shocked as well,
I'm sure.
not just on my campus, but I belong to several communities of practice, and we were hearing it all over that teachers were nervous, shaking, kids were like quiet, they weren't responding. Everybody was shut down.
I heard that, Dr. Daniel. I heard that a lot when I was doing consulting in a lot of the schools. I heard it a lot. I saw it myself too.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's when I started developing after I wrote this book. I wrote my second book. I got involved with the Adverse Childhood Experience Committee here, consortium here in Arizona, and I started putting that course together, my 90-day challenge. I've been building on that course and expanding on that course, but it was built upon my needs, what I discovered I need emotionally, mentally, nutritionally, physically, to be well so that I could be happy with myself in my own skin, in my own family and relationships, then go out to my job and do a good job, and then know how to deal with some people on communities where I was who weren't knowing how to manage themselves well.
So, Dr. Daniel, I think this is a great segue when we're talking about educators and getting ready for Christmas, because I love the fact. No, I adore and love the fact that you were your first case study. I always love it when people can come from a perspective of this isn't what I think, know, or read in pedagogy or methodologies. This is something that I applied to my life. It's kind of, my reference too on how I do things. So what a lovely experience in the way that, and this is why I hear the passion when you talk about it, because it's not what someone told you, what you think or inferred or assumed. You're coming from a practical standpoint of a lived experience, that this is what I know it works because I did it.
Yep,
So this is
definitely.
so absolutely awesome, Dr. Daniel. This is wonderful. Now tell us a little bit about the other book, um, that you were saying, that you was
You are
talking
not
about.
garbage.
Yes.
Okay, so that book was written in response to my work with the Arizona Adverse Childhood Experiences Consortium. And it took a look. I took a look. As I said, I was my first case study. I took a look at my experiences as an adolescent teenager
Mm-hmm.
and how some of those experiences were adverse childhood experiences. Dating, right? Dating as a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
trying to smoke cigarettes when my
Mm-hmm.
peers were doing it. That was that was definitely like some of the relationships, right, where people want to mistreat you or exclude you or bully you or because you're different. And I had an illness that kept me on the sidelines a lot. Oh, you can't, don't don't play with her or don't include her because she can't keep up with us or whatever, right?
Wow.
So yeah, that book is a testament. Now that one is PDF, um online only. It's not a physical one. But
Got you.
that one is a testament of the adverse childhood experiences that I had growing up. And as an adult, looking back and recognizing how they impacted me, becoming self aware, and then knowing then how to grow beyond that. Don't get stuck in the emotional woundedness of those things, take the information and the knowledge and then use it to construct your life. And so there is an adverse childhood experience questionnaire that you can take online. There are several of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just Google adverse childhood experiences, and most of them are 10 questions, and they hit hard. It's no joke. And I advise everybody in this who's viewing and listening to do that, because this is a part of your wellness and your self care. It's going to direct you on how do you need to then manage if you're feeling sad all the time, right? How do you may be feeling sad all the time because of something that you experienced, right? So, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're not facing that or getting support with that, you're just self managing that without knowledge or the proper tools, you'll have a struggle. So,
Doc, Dr. Daniel, you just knocked me right between my eyes. And I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I'm hoping that when it comes to self-care for our educators and K-12 families and community, the listening and viewing communities, you said a whole mouthful just then, because I was talking with another girlfriend on the phone yesterday evening. And because I'm a consultant and a coach, I knew that I was experiencing something, but I didn't know what that was. I just did a lot of sighing. I did a lot of sighing, cooking breakfast for my husband, doing a lot of sighing, walking around the house sighing, listening to my favorite music, but still sighing. Dr. Daniel, I didn't know that I had some stuff going on, because I'm like, all directions look like, why are you sighing? What's the deal? But when you're talking about those components and mechanisms, if people don't have high emotional intelligence or understand the way that you understand, because you were your own self case study, that you're able to apply that knowledge to other people, they won't know. They'll just say,
mhm,
I'm just sighing. Well, talking with my friend, she was able to help walk me through, like, oh. And then I was like, oh, this is what's happening with me, that I'm dealing with, and I had a trigger and didn't even know it.
mhm. Right,
So
right.
I'm hoping that our educators, our K-12 educators and stakeholders are listening, they're leaning in, they're listening, they're learning, they're jotting these things down, these real practical tips and strategies, and things that you're suggesting, because I just experienced this yesterday.
Right. And you
And
had the
and
self
they don't want to take that
awareness.
stuff home for Christmas. They
Right.
don't.
Right. And at least you had the self awareness to acknowledge something's different here and then reach out to talk to someone who you trusted. And some people turn to overeating, like
Yep.
I had done that. I use
Mhm.
food as, you know, calming me down, overeating, others self medicating bad habits. And so, if we're going to be well and if we're going to be effective in our careers and in our families, we have to have self awareness. We have to understand what all of these things mean that are that we're reacting to, our triggers. We need to understand what they are, so we're just not being bounced around and reacting to everything. We can be proactive and plan some steps, some intervening steps or actions, rest time, wait time. We don't have to uh, chime off on everything when everybody, if people say something that you
Mhm.
don't like, you don't have to say anything back. Just give them a look. Like, these are things we learn as we are going through understanding self care.
Is that some of the things that participants will learn during your 90-day self-care challenge?
That the self care challenge is packed with deep, rich information, tools, practices that people implement. They do them. Now, I'm just going to tell you, it's not for everybody because it's work. Why is it work? It's work because you're doing something different and new that you've not done before, or maybe you have, but not at this level, maybe not at this level of consistency. So, yes, the 90 days, that's 12 weeks of ownership and responsibility around focusing on how to be well, how to be effective, how to be self aware, how to do the things that are going to nurture you so you can nurture your family and nurture your job or business and build the world that you want for yourself and your family. So yes.
Awesome. Nice. So, with that being said, I'm going to guess what I'm going to do. Since you are very knowledgeable about self care for our educators and our stakeholders and our families and our students, here's an opportunity for a chance for you all again to win a free gift from Dr. Daniel. What do you need to do? Oh, it's simple. You are going to call into the show at 252-756-3137, and then what are you going to do, which is as a Christmas helper, part of your self-care for our K12 community, is you are going to call the show and you're going to give a Christmas season shout out to your favorite K-12 staff member, principal, teacher, bus driver, cafeteria worker, secretary, custodian, and you're going to tell them you want to wish them a Merry Christmas and the reason why you want to wish them a Merry Christmas. So let me go ahead and give a few key takeaways from our show today. Dr. Daniel, you know, when you call yourself the self-care evangelist. So some of our key takeaways today from Dr. Lynn Daniels Self Care and Wellness for Educators Christmas show is: number one, the importance of prioritizing self care. Number two, practical strategies for the holiday season. Number three, setting boundaries and managing stress. I heard her say that over and over and over and over throughout our show today. Number four, the ripple effect of wellness. Number five, using this Christmas holiday break to recharge. And number six, looking ahead to a new year. And you can probably get that real good and beautiful by doing what? Joining your what, Dr. Daniel?
My 90 days of grace self-care challenge. The spring one will start in March. We are currently underway, but the spring session will begin in March. So just keep your eyes out. Look on my link tree or my YouTube channel. I share information on my Lynn Daniel YouTube channel. And so, yeah, I welcome you to investigate and learn more and then join us. If you're
You know what?
ready, join
I'm
us.
probably going to sign. I'm probably going to be one of your first ones to sign up because I've been doing a lot of signing lately with all of my new roles and responsibilities. But so listen, I want to take this time to thank you all for joining us on today's episode of the Let's Talk K-12 Education Show. We hope you've enjoyed the discussion and found inspiration in exploring self-care and wellness for K-12 educators for Christmas. Remember, prioritizing not pouring from an empty cup is not just a strategy, it's the foundation for thriving students, engaged educators, and connected families. A very special thank you to our wonderful guest, Dr. Lynn Daniel, the self care evangelist, for sharing her insights and expertise. Your contributions truly brought depth to our conversation, shedding light on self care and wellness for educators for Christmas. We're grateful for your dedication to helping shape healthier, more supportive educational environments for all. And again, if you are an educator or K-12 educational stakeholder and would like to partner or reach out to Dr. Lynn Daniel, the self care evangelist for services, books, or her 90-day transformative self care challenge, you can connect with her via https linktree backslash Dr. Lynn Daniel, and it is on the screen below. I'll tell you what, Dr. Daniel, you brought it home today. And so here's the last opportunity and chance for you all to receive this free gift from Dr. Daniel for our Christmas Helper giveaway is by calling into the show again at 252-756-3137. and give a Christmas season shout out to a K-12 staff member that means something to you, that's brought you through these tough times, help you in your self-care and being resilient. It could be a principal, it could be a teacher, bus driver, cafeteria worker, secretary, custodian. Tell them what you want to wish them a Merry Christmas for, okay? This is Tonitia Langley, your educational enthusiast, thought leader, and show host for Let's Talk K-12 Education Show every Tuesday, where right here from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. each week on this wonderful channel. Until next time, stay well and continue to make educational equity everyone's community business. Thank you for tuning in today on Awesome Radio, WECU 107.5 FM and 1570 AM, where I had none other than Dr. Lynn Daniel, the self care evangelist. So if you want more of this for Christmas giveaways and free gifts, join us next Tuesday. Bye bye for now.